Well, the first thing, without going into the details of the case, obviously, is I think since the day of the arrest and the 3 nights in custody, is that I think there'd have been a better way of handling a governor who is elected by the people. Um, in this case, even after he'd been arrested, we saw him being pushed around. We saw him, a lot of the physical elements of it, I don't think were necessary or are right, unless it is people trying to release different pressures. It is not right. I think every accused person deserves a level of dignity, to be treated with dignity, whether they're a big person or a small person. That, for me, from the outset, I think the handling could have been done better. The disadvantage or the problem with not dealing with things in a way that seem impartial is that any judgment entered into, or any decision made thereafter, will be seen from the lenses of malice or witch hunt or something like that. So it needs to be treated a bit better. Yes, there is an issue with there not being a deputy governor and the judgment by Justice Mumbi Ngugi. My position has been from before that an elected official must be able to continue serving until they are proven guilty. There is the issue of, presumption of innocence. What needs to be prevented is that person interfering with witnesses or interfering with evidence. And if you had the ruling by the Speaker of the Senate through the Deputy Speaker, Kindiki Kithure, it was clear that, if the scene of the crime is a problem, the physical premises, then that person should be allowed to operate from a different place, but they still hold office. The Constitution has told us the methods through which a governor loses his seat or vacates his position. Now, in this particular case, if, for instance, they find other charges that then make him unfit to hold office or make his stay untenable, then those other instruments can be applied. And in that case, either for him to appoint a deputy governor, which I've been calling for the last very many months, or number two, for the speaker to hold office for a limited period pending another election in Nairobi. I think this is a predicament that we find ourselves courtesy of the court process. While the ruling of the courts must be respected, it's also our constitutional right, or anybody's constitutional right, not to agree with that particular position of Justice Mumbi Ngugi. I think the courts then should also pronounce themselves in this case on what happens if then there is also the absence of a deputy governor, because her ruling has not been challenged yet. And so since her ruling has not been challenged yet, that remains the prevailing situation, that then if you're charged, you cannot participate in running that office, and you need to step down and leave it to a deputy. The Constitution envisages what we call a county executive committee and a county assembly. That's what forms a county government. Within the county executive committee, there are CECs, and the court can even pronounce itself and say that amongst the CECs, one of them be chosen amongst them, or even the court can decree who, but ideally, one of them can come and serve in the position of a deputy governor. That can be done by the courts, but the courts cannot create a problem and then stay silent. Nairobi needs to run, Nairobi needs to work, and when you look at it as an institution, there are certain decisions that can only be made by somebody holding the executive position of governor or deputy governor. And so we need approvals to be done. We need some, dealings with the control of budget, issues with the treasury. Only somebody with that role needs to play it. So if they fail to do that, then a senator will be seeking a constitutional interpretation to actually how then does this city run, because we have leadership and we have interests. A large component of the GDP of this country is in Nairobi. And so the court should not then provide for us a problem or put a roadblock without telling us, okay, then this is the way out in this specific circumstance. That can be done by the current judge looking at this case, or then we shall seek interpretation for,